Hello, hi, Sawadika. Welcome to our channel. This is Joseph Kong, and today I would like to introduce Thailand real estate project to you. And here's a little bit of my background for those people who don't know me. Most of you know me, so just a reinforcement about what I do. So I have a background as an electrical engineer in computer science, and but I only did engineering for about 6.5 years before I uh, transformed myself into a financial advisory. So I've been doing the financial business for over 25 years, and I was able to very fortunately I was able to reach the financial independence uh, for myself, and currently helping others to achieve their financial goal. Right. So Neil Armstrong, the first person to reach the moon, used to say, "It's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind." And for me, my small step happens when the pandemic happened, right? So before my life, it's spending. I spend most of my time either teaching people about personal finance, or I'm taking my mom around the world to fulfill her bucket list. And the virus pandemic, the COVID-19 has really uh, put that life on hold, and now I now have a different life, and now I decide to get busy. I think I take enough breaks. 10 years break is long enough, and so now I'm back to work, right? And when I'm traveling, I usually travel about 6 months out of the year, when before the pandemic situation. And when I travel, it's forced a habit. I always want to study the local economy and the financial sector, as well as real estate, right? So in 2019, I have a chance to go to Taiwan, and then I went to Thailand for the very first time with my mother. And I have a partners in Taiwan who's always tell me to go to Thailand. And finally, last year I went there, and I wish I can go to Thailand a lot earlier, right? But anyway, you don't know what you don't know. And once I went into Thailand, I spent a couple of weeks there, really study the market, and I was very impressed, right? So if people ask me to use one sentence to describe this opportunity, in my opinion, I would say that it's, if you're from Taiwan or China, it's 50 years ago in Taipei or 30 years ago in Shanghai. So you get what I'm talking about, right? That's how I view Bangkok today. So let's go through the some agenda very quickly, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let's get going. So this is what things that I was doing in my financial business, right? So my passion is education. So we have a nonprofit the goal is to help people to become financially literate, but we're not here to talk about that, right? So you see some coloring here. What you see in green is I have operations that does those work, and the ones in blue are I have affiliated you know uh, uh, partners, not I don't have a piece of that business, but I have a partnership with those people. So the ones in blue and the ones in the yellow is what we're going to talk about. The only thing I do not do is banking. Okay. So I'm not interested in the banking. Maybe I'll start a bank someday, but I'm not interested in helping people to open a checking account and savings account and things like that, right? But today our focus is on the real estate flip, which is the green. If I'm not talking about that, that's what we're talking about, right? The first major project I want to do internationally with the real estate, I always want to start with flipping because then once I have a foothold there, then I can do a bigger, better project, right? Eventually, we want to do real estate development there. So so just very quickly to kind of show you. the kind of vision I have. Of course, I'm only a one-man person, and you can never do something like that with only one person. So I have a few partners over there, and we have a team. We have people working in both Taiwan and Thailand, and now I'm trying to establish a U.S. operation for the Thailand real estate here, and that's why we're talking about here. So we have with the Taiwan team, we have Mr. Kenny Lin here. It's my partner for over 15 years and in both financial business as well as the property management business. And Mr. Kenny Lin is now the number one Airbnb super host management team in Taiwan, and he has been invited to the headquarters in San Francisco twice in the last 3 years. And so within the Airbnb community in Southeast Asia, he's a very known name in the circle. So his expertise is Airbnb management, right? So I'm a partner. I'm teamed up with him, and we will have another project in Las Vegas, but that's a different story. Okay. And today we talk about Thailand. Then we have, of course, we have a Janie. Janie has been developed business in Thailand for over 10 years, and he's very fluent in Thai language. He's originally from Pingtung, uh, Taiwan, and he managed about 300 properties in Bangkok area, and he has a brokerage license, and he also owns various small business in Thailand. So he's very familiar with the Bangkok real estate market over there, and some demographics on the Thailand. So if you never those you can get from online. Population 69 million ish, about half and half between the urban population versus country population. Why do I talk about this? Because that means there's a huge potential to grow the real estate market there, right? There are a lot of people are not urbanized yet, and the regular average income is about $3,400 a year. It's not that much. That's why. What does that mean? That means there's a lot of growth potential. Again, when you have nothing and you become something, that's where the opportunity is, right? Population in Bangkok is about 10 million people. That's people live there, but there's a lot of floating population. Can be about 30 million ish for Bangkok. Depends on the tourism industry. And the average income in Bangkok, I want to mention about is about 3 times the national average. So you can tell that life in Bangkok is good comparatively speaking. That's why a lot of good people would like to go to Bangkok. Right? That's where the place to be for Thailand people, for Thai people. And the average rental is about $462. That's US dollars. So all the numbers you see is all US dollar. Okay, and the average expense, living expense a month is about $662. So yes, it is even in Bangkok. It's very cheap, right? That's why a lot of people from the United States right now it's a fairly popular options. If people know about Thailand, I have friends already decided to retire in Thailand, right, from US. Right, they're all Americans, right? And I just found out this place myself. You know, that's I'll probably like to go there in the winter, of course, because I do not like heat, right? But heat is good for you, by the way, for elderly. And the average housing price is only about 100,000, right? So what does that mean? Huge room for improvement. Okay, they haven't started yet over there, right? So if you in Taipei or you know in Taipei real estate, you're talking about minimum 500,000 to $1 million house, right? Over there it's only 100,000, so there's still a lot of room for improvement over there. So let's talk about the rising Thai market over there. So first of all, the reason why the Thailand is the next boom is because the infrastructure, right? So we're talking about major infrastructure. I'm sorry, this is in Chinese, but I cannot get the English version for this one. But basically, they're trying to build something called the Eastern Economic Corridor. That's on the east side of Thailand, and they're trying to build a industrial corridors, right? Because there's a lot of people are leaving China. There's a lot of people leaving India, right? For some reason. But guess where they're going, right? They went, quite a few of them went to Vietnam, but after very quickly they figured out, whoa, that's, communist country, right? There's some issues over there, especially with politics. So quite a few companies relocated from Vietnam out to Thailand. So you've talked about the whole Southeast Asia. Thailand has the most stable, democratic system in the region, right? So because that stability really attracts the business. So the Thailand government since 2017 has made a 8-year plan to upgrade their infrastructure. So they have a $43 billion now. In US, 43 billion is not a lot, but for Thailand, it's huge, right? So they are upgrading all their road system, their railroad system, their air trafficking, sea trafficking, sea traffic. They have a major upgrade and new ports, new airports, seaports are being built, and all of them are going to be finished by 2025. And why they are doing all this major investments, because they're getting prepared for big economical growth, right? So you talk about RCEP. If you've never heard about RCEP, that's the new trade-free zone that they have established in the last few years. It takes a few years to establish that, but as of last year, the RCEP is a bunch of Southeast Asian country, which includes China and India. When the RCEP is formed, they will possess the biggest market place in the world, more than EU, more than the North American marketplace. So they right now, everybody, right? If you know what's going on in the business, especially import export, everybody wants to get into RCEP, right? Australia want to be in there. Japan, Korea want to be in there. American want to be in there. So that it just gets bigger and bigger, right? So last year in 2019, they have designated the capital of RCEP, or the center of RCEP is in Bangkok, right by where our real estate project is, right? So this is huge for Bangkok and for Thailand, right? They're going to be the center of RCEP. So there's going to be a big converge of the business, right? That's why there's all around upgrades on infrastructure, road, railroad, air and sea, right? So this is a major project, and some of the major projects are already coming to completion, right? So their subway system is about to be complete. The whole you'll see the network. It's amazing, right? And of course, China has something called the Belt and Road. The Belt and Road, if you look at the Thailand as is the center of the Belt and Road. I have this one. I need to adjust this one, right? So Thailand is the major Belt and Road centers right here, and it's the only major transportation hub that includes air, road, and sea, right? That's the only one at Bangkok, right? So if you go to the north, that's a road, and then you go to to Malaysia and Indonesia, that's sea. But if you talk about road, air, and sea, Thailand is the only one because of location. You can see it's right in the middle of everything, right? And also, when we talk about the transportation hub. Right? If you talk about transportation hub, this is the railroad, right? This is what Chinese are trying to do with the whole region. and they want to build three different railways that will connect the Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, the Burma, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore together, right? So this is guess where they all converges, right? It all converges in Bangkok. So you can see that, and also this is the major highway, and then they are developing all over the in that whole region. Guess where they converges? The major converging point is Bangkok, okay, in Thailand. So that's why the position, right? All the money is being invested for all the infrastructure. Um, it's amazing how many things that's being worked on right now over there. And I want you to know that it's very easy to get into Thailand. First of all, you can have ownership for certain properties. The ones that we are working on right now has you can own 100%. And in Thailand, there's no inherit and no estate tax, no property tax, uh, and the capital gain tax within certain range is also free for foreigners. So you're talking about a investment tax-free zone. Thailand is the best in the region, right? And you talk about rental income, the cap rate is about 5 to 6. And when we talk about cap rate, I'm talking about net. Okay, I'm not talking about gross. I'm talking about net, which is huge. Right? It's very good. So the only taxes they have is called transaction tax. So they have a transfer tax, business tax, stamp tax. So you add together all this, it's transaction basis, right? So it's about close to 6%, and the agent commissions for real estate transactions about 2 to 3% in Thailand. So all the costs is over here. So the only time you pay taxes is when you sell the property, because usually when you buy, usually the seller can. I mean, it's negotiable, but usually the seller uh, uh, pays uh, pays for the taxes, right? Just like the U.S. But that's negotiable. So just for that, it's really awesome, right? And the cap rate and the growth potential is really awesome. If you talk about all the countries around that region, like Southeast Asia, you're talking about a lot of restrictions in Indonesia, and it's out because you cannot own 100%. Philippines, too much fighting, right? All the guerrillas and they're constantly at war over there. It's a mess over there, right? So there's a stability problem, and Cambodia basically they have over supply problem. Their population growth cannot catch up with the build up over there. So they kind of over build up, and also Cambodia has the infrastructure is very behind. It's way behind, right? So even though it looks good now, but it's not sustainable, right? Malaysia, um, if you're not Malay, I would not recommend Malaysia. If you're Malay, you have all the advantage. Hong Kong is very high, and also with the current situation, and Japan and Singapore are tough, and Taiwan, forget it, right? So very expensive and low rent. So Thailand for the whole Asian region is the best, right? And this is very stable political situation, and I just want to know that during the World War I, World War II, Thailand is a neutral country, just like Switzerland. So Thailand is the Switzerland in the region, right? The Japanese never get into Thailand, right? Because they're neutral. Um, and so they do not take sides. They don't take the Chinese side. They don't take the U.S. side. That's why if I had to choose anything outside China or America, Thailand it's a good great choice, right? So anyway, that's we talk about this already. We talk about that already. We talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about cap rate. So when you talk about the return, right? First of all, there are a few things you need to know about investing in Thailand, right, or in Bangkok. Number one is the currency, right? So I want you to know that Thai baht is now very strong because the whole economy is rising in the whole region, right? So it's beginning to rise. So the Thai baht in the last 10 years or so has grown. Their currency has increased in value more than 50%, right? So it used to be that you can exchange one US dollar can exchange about 60 Thai baht. Right now, one US dollar can exchange 30 Thai baht, right? So the Thai currency is gaining value, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. Number two is you have infrastructure. If you know anything about infrastructure, every time when you have major infrastructure being pushed, like the 1950s U.S. The superhighways, and of course in the 2000s for China the high-speed railway, right? Really, really, and also the superhighway and railroad construction in Taiwan during the 1970s. They are all lay out the groundwork for huge real estate appreciation, right? So this is something that you don't want to miss. I missed the Taiwan one, and I missed the Shanghai, right? So I think that right now if you study the history a little bit, this is a time to get in, okay? And also the high cap rate, right? The Thai law very nice and easy right now, especially for foreign ownership. So you can enjoy fairly simple management situation, and also have a very fairly high cap rate, right? You talk about a net of 5 to 8% that we can do for you with our management team over there. That's a great every year the housing cost price is rising, so is the rent is rising, right? So if you have a long term investment plan, Thailand is really good for the next 5 to 10 years, right? Rising overseas market, global positive expectation. Thailand is very popular right now. A lot of foreign government is invest heavily in Thailand. So you're talking about Russia. So yes, Russia. Russia is investing in Thailand big time. Russia, Japan, Korea, India, and United States, Australia. They all want to have a piece of Thailand, and of course China. China has a major investment in Thailand all over the place, right? Uh, so for that, that's going to all that domestic and international money flowing into Thailand. What does that do to the real estate market, right? It's going to they're, uh, it's going to go up, right? Um, if we look at it historically, right? And of course, all this transportation hub is putting Thailand in a very good position. So let's oops, hold on. Hold on a minute. Okay, there you go. All right, so let's continue on. Sorry about that. That's a little glitch up there. Need to did not clean out my presentation a little bit. So how do you the appreciation, right? It's our Thai investment. We can focus not only on income but also appreciation. So if you want your property to appreciate, what can you do? I think that for those people, since a lot of people have never know about Thailand, for me, I have a more conservative approach, right? So if you're a risk taker, you may not like my approach, but I like to start slowly. That's why number one is I like to invest in a small size properties to get my foot wet, right? So I can see how things work in there. So right now uh, our project in Thailand is all focused on the smallest condo units. So we're talking about studios, we're talking about one bedroom condos, and that's the most basic units, right? So there's not too much risk, and then there's not too much investment for you, right? So to get your foot wet, I think this is a great piece of property. It's very easy to rent, it's very easy to sell, it's very easy to buy. Okay, so that's why we started there. And number two is I want to find something that's convenient, that's nearby, that has a very good transportation, in terms of convenience. That's why this particular property that we found is going to be right walking distances to a metro line. That means on a subway, right? To what they call it. We don't. I mean, it's not subway. It's a metro line, right? So this is like if you're in Taiwan or anywhere, Hong Kong, anywhere close to the metro station, it's a good potentially good for real estate, right? And number three, of course, you want to have an urban development near the main and central development. And right now, the area that we're picking, if you do a little research, you'll find out that the Bangkok as a city is moving their city northward. Okay, why? Because in the southward they have a flood problem. So that right now the downtown and majority of their main development for Bangkok is focused on the south side. But the south side has a flood problem, and especially in the last few years, that flood problem is getting worse and worse and worse, right? So that's why they decide to they had decided a few years ago to move the Bangkok government northward. Guess what? That's where we are, right? And right now, the pricing in terms of the whole Bangkok, it's about 25 to 30% of compared to the South Bangkok. So there's a huge, but in the near future, because all the major infrastructure work are concentrating on the North Bangkok, right? So that's going to be the new downtown versus old downtown, right? And the governments are moving in that way, as you can see. We're going to show pretty quick. And this is our location, right? So you talk about what kind of location are we talking about, right? Because when you talk about real estate investments, location, location, location. So you're talking about Bangkok. Check out this place called Impact Muang Tong Tiny. I don't know if I speak it correctly, but we have a YouTube video. You can either follow the link or you can scan it on the QR code and watch the about 8 to 9 minute video about the impact, right? That's made by the Bangkok government, and you can see that. So this is what the actual location look like, and you can see the properties that it's all this white building behind it. That's where that is, right? So that YouTube video will give you a very good introduction about what impact is all about, and you can Google Map by typing in Impact Bangkok, and you can see the exact location, right? And love it. If you're in real estate, you have to know this is going to be the center of the development in the next Bangkok city, right? And as they continue to grow in size, right now I have more than 10 million people, and about 30 million, including all the floating population, right? Permanent residents about 10 million, floating residents about 30 million, right? And this is the future main development. So as an introduction, if you watch the YouTube, this is the biggest show trade place in the whole Asia and second biggest in the world, right? So just picture Las Vegas over here, right? With all the convention halls, they have 16 soccer field. Each display room, exhibit hall is about 3 soccer field big. So they have 16 of them. They're still building. They're not done yet. They have one giant indoor stadium, one outdoor stadium, and one major, like a very extravagant showroom over there. So the whole area, right? The picture does not do justice because if you look at carefully, this is huge. Okay, this place is huge, um, and we are right across the street from this location. That's how close we are. We're just right across the street, right? So community. Um, You can see it's very close to all the major transportation hub, right? The new Bangsu, which is on the south, that's the I went there and I see it's a huge, it's gigantic. I mean, you look at this map, right? I mean, Bangkok is a huge place. It's all 11. It's more than 10 times San Francisco. It's huge, right? And this Bangsu is the main station. Is going to be the main station for all the subways, railways, high-speed railroad, light railroad, and the bus. Right, it's going to be the main bus terminal. So all the land transportation is all converging to this place. It's about 15 minutes away, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes away from us. We are connected by all the lines, and also the new international airport. It's only 15 minutes away. That's if it's traffic, right? If it's not traffic, it's about 10 minutes. You can get there. It's just so close, right? And then you can see that the new Bangkok government, right, the Thai government, the federal central government, they are relocating to, guess what, next to us, right, on the other side of the freeway. So if you look at our position, this is the best in northern Bangkok, right? And you can see that more clearly in the Google map, right? So the whole area is going to be built up in 5 years. All the constructions are due to finish in 5 years, and that's you can. So that's why right now I think that subway will be done next year. They're about to open their metro stations right next to us, right next year in 2021, which is only a few months away. So look at this community, right? So you see the impact. Now, keep in mind that it looks small on this picture, but it's huge. Okay, each one of those little thing here, this little square thing here, has a 1,000 houses on each of the little square. So there are 25 of them over here total. So it's about 25,000 units, condo units, in our region, right? So we are trying to get into the whole area because if you look at the location, it's just right next to the major shopping mall and the exhibition hall here, right? So you cannot ask for any better, in terms of location, right? This if you're an Airbnb person, this is a dream come true, right? You're talking about major facility. So for example, that's what it looks like on the Google map, and that's what the building. See, this is one building. That's how big it is. 1,000 condo units, right? Huge. It's a lot. I mean, a picture, it doesn't look, because we have to fit all that in the picture, right? It doesn't look that big, but it's huge. Let's tell you this. I've been there, so I know, right? And I think that it's kind of funny for the whole region, with a major shopping mall, major government center, major school, major bank, they're all there, right? And with all that, guess what? Within the whole, I think 1 or 2 kilometer area, uh, there's only two hotels. Two hotels. Can you imagine that? Less than 1,000 units, right? Two hotels there. That's why I look at this location and say, man, we should do Airbnb here. But we our rental is 100% rented if you rent it for people, local Thai people who have job over there. But Airbnb, right now, of course, the COVID-19, we can only do domestic business, right? But eventually, when that open up, man, the business is going to be very good, because this is, just imagine, this is the Las Vegas, this is the strip in Las Vegas, right? And we're right next to it, right? And we have all this housing. So it's good to get yourself in there, right? And of course, Metro. This is all the lines is going to be complete by 2025. All this are Metro line subways, right? And we are the northern Thailand. You see this river over here? This river is creating a lot of problem for Bangkok in the south region, right? and that's where the downtown is, and of course the downtown real estate is, forget it, right? But it's flooded all the time. So right now they're moving toward north. So this is where we are in the pink line, right? You can see it's North Bangkok, and still there's a tremendous room for growth. It's only about 25 to 30% of the South Bangkok, right, in terms of pricing. So all the infrastructure, this is actually available next year, um, with the branch out to this, and our community is right here, walking distance, guys. Uh, major, major hub, because that whole area has two stations, one in the north, one in the south, right? Our community stretch throughout north and the south, so it doesn't matter which building you buy, you're going to be very close to. You're going to be very close. See, this is our unit, right? And this is the subway, and the subway has all the connections to the location, to the impact, right? So it's very very convenient to reach to reach out. Then we talk about the kind of investment, right? We offer two type of condo units. One is the basic, the premium basic unit. It's a very very rectangular kind of setting. It's a studio, okay? And you walk in. And I want you to know that right now we're pricing this unit around 40,000 ish US dollar, depends on the exchange rate, and it includes everything that you see, all the furnitures, all the refrigerators, TV, air conditioning, all the decorations, all included. Okay, so you don't have to spend a one dime more, and when you buy it, you can rent out the next day. Okay, as soon as the title transferred, it's yours, and you can do whatever you want. You can use it as a vacation spot, or you can let us, our management company to help you, right? And so this is a real unit. This is not a sample unit. This is, remember, we manage about 300 of them. So this is a unit that we manage right now for Airbnb purpose, right? So you can kind of get an idea. And and here's 38 square meter. So oh sorry, in the English terms, about in the U.S. citizens, this is about 300 square feet, and this is about 400 square feet. So it's a tiny little units in the urban area, right? Keep in mind that this is a metropolitan, major area, and so these are very very popular, very easy to rent. Okay, um, so so I want to give you a few more idea, right? So this is the this is one of the squares. So you see that little hole there? That's the quad, right? The center. It's huge, right? So just imagine 1,000 units per building block, right? So some more pictures I want to show you. Like I said, these are our units, Ray J line. So you can we use a line in Asia. The line is more popular social media software to use. So you can connect to these. You can this. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of picture over there. So just so you can see, right? Those are actual units that we built and managed. Okay, so we have done quite a few units already, right? And it's not the first day we're doing this, but we are expanding, right? So before we only do a few units at a time, and right now we're trying to do a major, right? We're trying to do a 50, 100 units at a time. That's why we're expanding. That's why we are raising funds right now for construction purpose. And the earlier we can get the funds, the quicker we can pump out those units. And for the last 3 years, we have sold for our units, and we also sold for other people, other owners. We have sold over 150 units in the last 3 years. So we have never have any problem selling those units because they're dirt cheap, right? 40,000, $50,000 US, you can own a piece of property in Bangkok City. This is not suburb. This is actually in the Bangkok city. All right. So here's some thing. And I want to switch pace to kind of tell you what's available, right? So first of all, we are raising funds. So for those people, I think that if you have never invested internationally, you have never gone to Thailand, this is a great way to kind of think about this, right? So you don't have to buy into it right away. What you can do is you can help us by providing the necessary capital that we needed to get those projects done. And for that, due to the COVID-19, we will take all the risks. You don't have to take any risk at all. We will give you interest. Okay. So right now, we need to raise all the funds by October. About so if you have money to sit around at getting ridiculous interest rate in the bank, you can put in here, right? So right now we have a promotion before September 30th. We're going to give you 8%. You can choose either simple or compound. If it's a simple, it's we pay you annually. If it's compound, we pay you interest plus rolling interest and principal at the end of the third year, right? So it's a 3-year lock. It's not going to be flexible. So if you have some money that you're going to use within 3 years, do not put it here, right? Do not put it here because we need that money to keep on rolling because we are planning to do about 300 to 400 units to say the minimum, right? As much as we can build it, and so we need that money for continue rolling, right? So in the meantime, we're going to give you 8% if your funds can be in by September, and 7% if your fund comes in after September. Okay, so minimum funding 50,000. Why? Because then we're going to give you a deal. You can come in, and 1 year later you can do your research, whatever, earn your interest. If you decide to buy it, then we're going to give you 5% additional discount on the pricing. So that will, if you buy the house first year, you put your money in before September 30th, that will guarantee you 13% return right up front. Okay, and 5% discount on the housing and 8% on the money on the interest. But if you do it after September 30th, it's 12% first year, right? If you do so you don't have to buy, you can just get the get the interest payment from us, right? So that's the first way that if you want to be more conservative. If you have experience with Thailand, you know that this is great to get in. Then buy the property now, right? So you can do pre-purchase. We need about 150,000 Thai baht deposit, and you get to choose the unit, right? Before anybody else. So you have all the premier units will be available for your selection, like the good view ones, the high floor ones, things like that, right? And also we do the full management for you. Doesn't matter if you want to do a long-term rental or short-term rental, like Airbnb. We have expertise there, and right now all our long-term rental are 100% rented. We don't have any gap, right? It's very easy to rent over there because all the schools and major government is it's all there, right? And the growth potential is, if you know what I'm talking about, if you live in Taiwan, live through the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and you're in Shanghai, you lived through the last 30 years, you know what I'm talking about, right? And also because my expertise is in personal finance, so I can help you, right? I can help you to minimize the U.S. taxes, right? I can help you to minimize your cost in terms of investing in this project. So anybody that buy into this project, I will offer you my expertise, right? And I want to tell you that I charge $400 per hour for my service. So if you if you because I'm very experienced, I'm good at what I do, right? So uh, if you become our client, I'm going to make it free for you. Okay. And of course, my passion is still teaching. So if you want to learn about personal finance in the U.S. citizen system, join me for the classes, right? Or you can learn for $100. All right, so that's not deviated. Let's come back. There will be opportunity for agents. So we have a Taiwan team, we have a Thai team, we need a U.S. team. So I have a consult with several real estate broker and also real estate board in California. I don't know about other states, but should be pretty similar. They told me that for selling the Thai properties, you do not need to have a real estate license. Oh, good news! Anybody can sell it. So, but we're going to follow the U.S. Rule, right? So if you sell anything for us, we're going to give you 3-4% for buyers representation. If anybody refer you, you should follow the referral thing, right? 25, 75, whatever. And anybody can do it. So if you want to make some extra income, helping us to raise funds or helping us, I mean, this is not going to be the only project, right? Once we're done with this, we're going to have other projects. So there will be opportunity for you to do fundraising and make money. There will be opportunity for you to sell real estate property, real estate projects for us, and make commissions. Either way, it's fun, right? But uh, for this one, we need to close our fundraising by October 31st, right? So if a minimum 50,000, like I said, we'll give you. You don't need to do the presentation. All you have to do is introduce person to me. I will do all the work, and then you'll get the commission when it's done. Okay, so that's the thing. And also, of course, I got to take care of my agents. I got to take care of my partners, right? So whatever I offer to the client, I also offer to you. So all the free tax planning or whatever, you can take it, take advantage or not take advantage. That's up to you, right? And keep in mind the bigger picture. So right now, besides we have a lot of clients in China, in the Chinese world. We have a lot of people in the U.S. world, but there are other alternative beyond US and China, right? And Thailand, from the Southeast Asia standpoint, and I know a lot of Chinese from Guangxi and Guangdong, they know this, right? 3 years ago, there's a huge wave of Chinese migrating to Thailand. There's a lot of Chinese money over there, but you know what? They went in there a little bit too early. They don't have infrastructure. I mean, they just started it. Right now, the infrastructure is being completed, especially the next 3 years. There's a lot of major projects is completed, right? Including the high-speed railroad. The high-speed railroad will be done. The big main station will be done in 2023, right? The metro line is done in next year. So now is the time to get in, right? 3 years ago, those Chinese people they got in a little bit too early. Now is the time to get in, right? So there's a financial solution, especially if you're looking for very decent return, like an interest return. Look no further, right? We're it. So and an alternative place to stay for retirement. So if you're thinking about retirement, my goodness, 650 dollars a month living expenses in Bangkok, right? So if you have a social security or you're from Canada, man, $1,000 US make you live very comfortable in Bangkok, right? So that's you can buy it for $40,000. You can buy a unit, you can stay there, retire, couple, whatever. Safe zone if U.S. and China fights. Like I said, in the last 150 years or so, Thailand's always been neutral, right, in all the conflicts. Um, and they want to be Switzerland. They don't want war. And very, very stable place. There's a little dispute, like the political dispute, but it's very, very peaceful, right? It's not shaking the development Thailand at all. And so there's a lot of business opportunity there, and that's something that once you get a foot wet, you get a foot in, and we can talk about other stuff, right? But this is only the very beginning of our Thailand involvement. We're going to do a lot of different projects and one stage at a time. But right now, this is our beginners project, just easy flip of condo properties, buy, sell, rent, all very, very easy to do, right? So So if you're looking for any alternative place beyond the U.S. and China, uh, and do consider Thailand. Okay. So the next thing, what you can do is if you're interested in try it out and get some interest going, and later on buy the properties, please give that commitment before October 31st. And if you do it before September 30th, we give you one extra percent advantage throughout the 3-year period, right? And also pre-purchase is already available, so first come first serve. And our units will be available starting October. The construction already started, right? So we're working on the first 2-3 units already. So that's that. And next, what we will have, and thank you for taking your time and watch those videos. And next, what we will do is we will have question and answer sessions. You can comment to any one of the. Be sure you finish the video before you come to a quick question and answer, right? Because we don't want you to bore you with the presentation again. So watch this on your own time, and just come to our Q&A session, and just let me know if you're interested. So we'll invite you to the Q&A session. So you can either text me, or you can email me at this email. Okay. So that will be it. Just let me know if you have any questions and things, and join our Q&A session. Thank you very much.